This video is going to be a follow-up sa video na ginawa ko a few weeks ago. Yung link nun ipipaste ko dito sa upper right ng screen in case gusto nyong panuorin muna yon bago ito. Sa video na to, I'll be talking about the different trading styles or trading profiles in the stock market with the perspective of a trader that's based in the Philippines. Nakadepende kasi sa kung anong market yung nagiging trading style ng isang market participant eh. So, it's very important na i-take in natin yung context na yun. So, ito for Philippine-based. And lastly, before we start, kung bago ka pa lang sa mundo ng trading, sobrang importante ng matututunan nyo sa video na to because your trading style can make or break your trading career or your trading journey. Because if you pick the wrong trading style or the wrong trading profile, hindi talaga magmamatch yung performance nyo sa lifestyle. So, kailangan may confluence no pagdating sa lifestyle nyo tapos sa trading profile na fina-follow nyo para maging maayos yung takbo ng trading journey nyo. So, make sure that you finish this video para ma-apply mo agad yung mga matututunan mo dito sa Philippine stock market. So, disclaimer lang, the stuff that I'm going to talk about here, gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, based sa Philippine setting, no? So, may mga definitions dito na hindi tama kapag na-apply mo sa ibang market. Kung forex man yan, kung crypto man yan, kung US stock market man yan, kung Hong Kong or kung saan pa. So, Philippine-based lang. Also, if I'm going to talk about certain stocks here, hindi yun recommendations to buy or sell or hindi yun pang-hype, no? It's just a part of the discussion and context to show you certain trading examples as we progress. So, ayun lang and let's start this discussion. So, kung napanood nyo na yung video na sinabi ko kanina, familiar kayo sa slide na to or sa table na to, no? So, yung different types of traders, trading style and trading profile, most of the time, it's divided into 4 categories. So, andyan yung scalpers, yung day traders, swing traders, or position traders. And there are several definitions when it comes to these 4 na types of traders. Pero one thing that I noticed, and based din sa experience ko, yung difference talaga nila mostly is the duration of their positions, their trades, or their trading setups, no? So, pagdating sa mga scalpers, madalas minuto at oras lang. And meron pang mga ibang scalpers na talagang segundo lang yung nagiging positions nila. So, for day traders naman, madalas intraday or within the day, but it may extend, no, up to 2 to 3 days. For swing traders, it will take several days and several weeks na rin. And for position traders, ito talaga yung sobrang pangmatagalan, no? Yung long term talaga, 4 months or years. So, basically, scalpers talagang sobrang short term. Yung day traders, andyan yung short term trading. Swing traders, medium term trading. And for position traders, long term talaga sila. So, una nating pag-usapan yung scalpers, no? So, sa common vocabulary or common lingo na labas sa stock market, di ba pag sinabi natin na scalpers or yung mga nagsascalp, ito yung mga taong mahilig sa buy and sell na diskarte or business na kunwari may bagong release na sapatos, kunwari mga Jordans, no? Yung bibili sila ng sobrang daming stock ng ganon, tapos markup lang ng onte or pwedeng malaki, tapos ibebenta nila yung stock nila ng sapatos na yun, no? Pwedeng bumili sila ng 10 pairs agad tapos kahit maliit lang yung markup or kahit hindi ganun ka laki, basta marami yung makuha nilang volume ng sapatos tapos mabenta nga nila sa marami, diba? So, nagra-rack up yung income despite the small percentage increase, no? At may mga iba pa nga talaga na mataas din talaga yung nalalagay nila na markup or percentage. And hindi lang yan sa sapatos, no? Pwedeng mga bagong release na damit, mga ticket sa concert, ticket sa mga sports events, at kung ano-ano pa. So, in the world of the stock market, no, sa trading, gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, yung scalpers, ang trade duration nito, pwedeng minuto lang, oras lang, at may iba talaga na segundo lang yung ginagawa. So, most of the time, yung mga scalpers, ito yung papasok sila sa isang stock. Tapos, sa loob ng trading day na yun, wala na silang posisyon. And the reason for that is because yung trade strategy kasi ng mga scalpers, they take profits from minimal price movements. So, dyan pumapasok yung average na mga 2 to 3% gains lang sa kada trade. And because sobrang liit lang nung gains na nakukuha nila sa per trade, no, several trades yung pwede nilang gawin within the day. So, mataas yung frequency ng trading nila. So, hindi sila masyadong nag-hold talaga ng matagal sa mga positions nila. Pag pumasok sila sa isang stock tapos pumitik yung stock, tumaas ng 2 to 3%, sell na kaagad sila, no? Or di kaya pag umabot ng 5% tapos bumaba ng 2 to 3, hindi na nila aantayin na maging break-even yun or pwedeng mag-loss pa, no? Sinesell na kaagad nila for the profits. So, initially, when I started sa stock market, several years ago na, yung pinakauna ko talagang trading profile or trading style is more on scalping. Pero, hindi ko pa alam na yun yung tawag doon, no? Nakita ko lang kasi na pag may mga stocks na tumataas, tapos nakikita kong may maliliit na gain, nakakatuwa kasi nakukuha mo siya kaagad in a span of a few minutes or a few hours. And when I started kasi sa stock market, estudyante pa lang ako nun. So, yung mga ganong profits, sobrang laking bagay na nun. So, nahook ako dun sa scalping strategy na ganon. Pero, hindi ko pa yun alam na ayun pala yung methodology ng pagiging isang scalper. So, I wasn't able to take screenshots or port snaps of my scalping days kasi hindi ko pa naman priority yung pagjo-journal nun. Para sa akin lang, no, masaya na ako na may nakukuha akong mga gains. But one of the most memorable stocks na na-trade ko during the time na mahilig pa talaga ako mag-scalp is WPI. So, puntahan natin yung chart para ma-explain ko yung methodology, no, pagdating sa scalp. So, andito tayo sa chart ng WPI and makikita nyo yung buong move na to, no? Yung sobrang taas na ginalaw niya in a span of a few months. So, from April 2017 up to August 2017, from the lows of this stock towards the highs, nag-increase siya ng more than 200%. And ang natatandaan ko during this period, itong area na to. So, makikita nyo from July 7, July 10, July 11, and then July 12, nag-increase siya ng almost 49-50%. So, yung ginagawa ko lang during this time, kung makikita nyo, per candle, halos nag-i-increase siya ng 9-10%. Ito, merong 11-12%. So, every time na papasok ako sa stock, tapos nag-increase na siya ng 2 to 3%, binibenta ko lang, tapos nilalock-in ko na yung profits. So, pag nagbenta na ako, titingnan ko lang din ulit kung malakas pa yung stock, kung nakikita kong may buying pressure pa siya, tinitingnan ko yung bid and ask. So, kapag nakakita ako ng malakas na buying pressure, sumasabay ulit ako. So, in a single stock, for the span of the whole trading day, pwede kang bumili at magbenta sa stock na yun ng 2 to 3 times, no? And hindi lang isang stock yung pwedeng gumawa ng ganyang galaw sa mismong araw na yun. So this brings me to one of the advantages of using a scalping strategy. There are opportunities on a daily basis. So kung bago ka pa lang sa stock market or kung ilang buwan ka na or ilang taon ka na, I'm sure you've noticed na kahit down yung market, kahit sideways yung market, pag tiningnan mo sa top gainers, meron dyan at least nag-increase ng 5%. So every day merong stock na tumataas ng 5%, may tumataas ng 7%, 10%, 20%. So, if your trading objective or your profit objective is to simply gain 2 to 3% na profits to lock in those profits, hindi ka talaga mawawala ng opportunity, di ba? And another advantage of using a scalping strategy, you don't have overnight or weekend risk. So, ano ibig sabihin ng overnight or weekend risk? So, sa stock market, alam naman natin na 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. lang yung market, no? So, nagbago na kasi yung scheduling ng PSE. Pero before, half day yan. Tapos, before 3:30, tapos nagka-adjustments because of COVID, and then, ngayon, bago na naman. But the thing is, sure ball na 3:30 p.m. lagpas, close na siya. So, whatever news that comes out during that period, whether negative man yan, negative sentiment, or may nilabas na disclosure yung mismong company, hindi ka pwedeng mag-exit ng position mo. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng kinabukasan, or kung Friday mo nabili yung position at lumabas yung negative sentiment or negative news ng Sabado at Linggo, Monday ka pa pwedeng mag-act sa news na yon. So, advantage yun ng mga scalpers since madalas wala na silang posisyon sa araw na yun mismo. So, kahit pa may lumabas na kahit anong news, kahit anong negative sentiment, hindi sila affected kasi wala naman silang posisyon the following day or the following week. But of course, one of the disadvantages naman ng pagiging isang scalper or using the scalping trading strategy is that for most of the market session, whether morning man yan or afternoon, you'd be essentially glued to the monitor. So, kung naka 2 monitor setup ka man yan or naka laptop ka, kailangan glued ka talaga because nag-aabang ka nga ng mga stocks na gagalaw. Because if you see a stock already increased by more than 5% or more than 10% during the day, sobrang liit na lang nung upside mo nun kasi sobrang risky na nung posisyon na hindi mo sigurado kung may itataas pa siya, no? So, ang hinahabol mo kasi kapag nagsascalp ka is yung initial surge ng volume kasi sasabayan mo yung mataas na volume tapos buying pressure na yun, no? Although, it's still possible to scalp sa mga stocks na tumaas na, lalo kung sobrang lakas talaga ng buying pressure. If you're going to do it regularly, kailangan kasi maabangan mo yung mismong surge na yun, no? Yung biglang pagpitik niya ng 2, 3, 4%. Tapos, ikaw na yung magbebenta pag nag-increase na siya ng 10 to 15%. Ikaw na yung magsusupply dun sa mga bibili pa lang sa hapon or huli na bibili. So, ibig sabihin, for you to do that and to be able to have high-frequency trades, kailangan totoo ka talaga sa market. Which is why, for most people, yung scalping strategy talaga, hindi yan applicable. No, lalo na kung may full-time job ka, kung may part-time work ka, posible yung scalp, pero it's only possible if lagi kang may access sa laptop mo, no? Probably if you're a project-based employee or you're self-employed na project-based, kasi pwedeng naka-open yung isang laptop mo na dedicated sa trading tapos sa kanan, andun yung work laptop mo, diba? But of course, if may full-time job ka tapos lagi kang malayo sa laptop or sa computer, on-site ka, then it's very hard to pull off the scalping strategy. Ang ending, stress ka lang lagi kasi nasa work ka tapos kailangan mong buksan agad yung laptop mo or kailangan lagi mong tingnan yung phone mo, diba? Which is of course unsustainable. Isa pang disadvantage ng scalping strategy, you need a large capital in order for it to be sustainable and worth it, no? So, I'll show you a simple computation regarding sa scalping. So, halimbawa, yung total portfolio mo is 30,000. And of course, hindi naman pwedeng lagi kang all-in kasi pag ginawa mo yon tas natatalo ka, mas magiging maliit yung allocation mo sa next positions mo, diba? So, the logical thing to do is essentially divide your portfolio into at least 3 positions. Kasi hindi naman maganda na scalping strategy ka tapos 5 pa yung hawak mo. Kailangan nga tutok ka na sa stock na yun dahil pwedeng labas-pasok yung gagawin mong strategy doon, 'di ba? So, mas okay ng 3 positions lang. So, kung meron kang 3 positions, that means per stock at least, no? Or max 10K yung position mo doon. Now, sa 10,000 na position mo per stock, halimbawa sa isang araw na yon may na-trade kang 3. Unang trade mo, panalo ka. Pangalawang trade, napakat ka. Tapos, pangatlong trade, nanalo ka ng 2%. So, tabla lang yung first 2 trades mo, tapos yung pangatlo dun ka kumita. So, ibig sabihin, if your profit target is 2%, kung meron ka nilagay na position doon, 200 yon. So, isipin mo, for example, meron kang full-time job, yung portfolio mo 30K, tapos lagi kang stress kasi pasilip-silip ka lagi sa laptop mo, so nagsasuffer yung job mo kasi nakafocus ka sa stocks, or di kaya on-site ka tapos tingin ka ng tingin sa phone, pwede ka pang magkaroon ng aksidente or disgrasya or whatever. Tapos ang kapalit lang nun is 200 since maliit lang yung capital mo. So, in terms of the risk, in terms of the productivity levels, hindi worth it, no, yung pagiging scalper. Kung maliit yung capital, tapos kung hindi ka makaka-focus sa pag-monitor during market hours, no. So, inversely, if your portfolio is 1 million, tapos let's say dinivide mo into 3 positions. So, ibig sabihin, max 333,000, no? Or at least 300,000 per position. So, if you're going to make 2% sa trade na yon, so, kagaya lang nung example natin kanina, unang trade mo, panalo. Pangalawang trade, talo. So, tabla. Tapos, yung third trade mo, lumabas ka na may 2% gain. So, at least 6,000, no? So, hindi na masama kung sa loob ng isang araw magkakaroon ka ng 6,000 pesos. But the thing is, you need to have a large capital for that, large capital sa trading portfolio. And, of course, as the portfolio increases, mas nagiging selective ka na sa stocks because not all stocks or names can accommodate your position na lalabas-pasok ka na may 300,000 or more. So, para sa akin, yung scalping strategy, para to sa mga kayang mag-monitor ng market continuously, no, throughout the day, na hindi masyadong affected, no, yung trabaho or kung anong project. Tapos, you have a substantial amount of capital for it to be worth it. But again, opinion ko lang yun, no, and based din sa experience. But, of course, it's possible to still do scalp kahit maliit yung capital. If you want to do high-frequency trades, kung kaya mo naman magbantay talaga ng stock market, no, during morning and afternoon sessions, kung para sa'yo worth it na magkaroon ng extra 200, 300, 400 pesos sa loob ng isang araw, then it's possible na scalp yung strategy para sa'yo. But para sa akin lang, there are much better trading profiles or setups and strategies if ganun yung setup, no? So, the second category for the different trading styles or trading profile, day traders. So, from the word itself, no, day traders, madalas yung nagiging setup ng day traders within intraday moves lang talaga or nagkakaroon ng extension ng isa or dalawang araw. This is why for most of the day traders out there, yung nagiging trading duration talaga nito, 1 to 3 days eh. Madalas within the week, wala nang hawak na position yan. In case na magkaroon ng magandang setup ng Friday na kailangan mo talagang bilhin at kailangan mong i-risk na pwedeng magkaroon ng weekend na negative sentiment, no? Kasi ang ganda talaga nung setup. So, that's possible. But most of the time, and from my experience, nung madalas pa talaga ako nagde-day trade, 1 to 3 days talaga yung usual ko na trade duration. And up until now, when I still see sobrang ganda na opportunities, I still do some day trades, no? At papakita ko yung example niya mamaya. So, the trade strategy for day traders, high volatility. Kasi pag grabe talaga yung galawan ng stock within the morning session or within the afternoon session, nag-increase na siya ng 15 to 20%. Sobrang volatile talaga niyan. Tapos, high momentum, malakas talaga yung buying pressure, malakas talaga yung volume, and very liquid because it can accommodate a very large allocation, no, or very large size. So, hindi man siya kasing high frequency ng scalping, but you can basically do several trades within the trading week. Kasi in a span of a trading week, no, pwedeng may isa, dalawa, or tatlong stocks dyan na gumawa ng ingay, no? So, magkaroon ng magandang sentiment or magkaroon ng biglaan na galaw. And if scalpers make gains na between 2 to 3% on average, madalas pag day trading yung strategy mo, mas onti yung opportunities kumpara sa scalp. But when you're able to trade day trading strategies ng maayos, you can make 10-15% gains on average and pwede pa nga umabot ng 20 to 25%. Depende talaga sa lakas ng stock. So, I'm gonna show you a previous example of a day trade that I did several years ago. And yung stock na yon is MAH. So, ito previous screenshot to ng trade ko sa Metro Alliance Holdings. So, MAH yan. So, this was the time during the pandemic na sobrang volatile talaga ng galawan ng mga stocks. So, I bought here during the breakout of the 2.48 resistance. So, average price ko dyan around 2.49. And as you can see, around 400,000 shares since sobrang volatile ng stock na to, no, based from experience before. And sobrang lakas ng momentum. Makikita nyo, several days ago, nasa 1 lang yung price niya tapos nag-increase na ng more than 100%. Kasi yung price nung time na pumasok ako, around 2.49 na, no? And syempre, kung makikita nyo yung volume, sobrang taas. So, sobrang liquid niyan. So, that's why it was able to accommodate my size here. And then, I can see a 1-year resistance sa 2.88. So, what I did, nung tumaas siya ng onte and nakikita kong nagfe-fade na siya, binentahan ko na lang agad sa 2.88 na resistance. Since yung objective ko nga dito is day trade, hindi ko naman siya gustong i-trend follow, hindi ko naman siya gustong gawing position trade. Talagang objective ko lang is momentum breakout and sell on the resistance. So, naka-target price base tayo. So, that means that within the day, no, ilang oras lang, I was able to sell my position and come out with a 6-digit gain. And ito naman, isang example na recent kong nagawa. So, like I said, I've already transitioned most of my trades into swing trading and position trading. But when I see yung sobrang ganda na opportunities for day trade, I still take advantage of those stocks. Like this one sa Plus, nung July 3, ito yung time na sobrang bugbog niya tapos nagkakaroon talaga ng mga sell down. So, I was able to trade the bounce on Plus. So, posted price around 31.80. Sa isang portfolio ko, 31.70. And nabenta ko yung isa sa 38.4, yung isa sa 39. So, basically, buying the bounce, entering during the recovery, and selling within the day because I don't want to have overnight risk since sobrang negative nung sentiment sa stock na yun and hindi ko napapalagpasin yung more than 20% gain sa loob ng isang trading session lang, no? So, ayan yung mga pwedeng gawing strategies for day trading, which is momentum breakouts, bounce plays, at marami pang iba. So, one of the advantages of day trading, several opportunities within the trading week. Lalo na kapag maganda yung takbo ng market, talagang araw-araw may pinipitik talaga, araw-araw may gumagalaw. So, it's very simple to spot stocks that can increase by 10 to 15% within a span of 1 to 3 days. And kung matagal na kayo sa channel na to, ilang beses na ako nakapag-review ng stock chart analysis, kitang-kita nyo naman, di ba? Within the trading week, a stock can go up by 10 to 15%. So, if you're a day trader tapos kaya mo talagang mag-screen ng mga stocks, you can spot these opportunities. Pero ayun lang, kapag yung market talaga nasa consolidation or pababa, nagiging onte yung opportunities for day trading. Much like what's happening sa galaw ng PSE ngayon, no? Another advantage of day trading, you can earn a good return even with a small capital. So, kanina sa scalping, binigay natin yung example na 30,000 yung portfolio tapos pag dinivide mo sa 3, 10,000 per stock tapos pag nag-return ka ng 2% lang, ang lalabas 200 lang, no? So, let's apply that portfolio into a day trading na profile. So, 30,000 na portfolio, i-divide mo into 3, so that's 10,000 per stock. Ngayon, kung sasakay ka sa isang stock with 10,000 pesos, nag-increase siya ng, let's say, 15% in a span of 1 to 2 days. Ibig sabihin, yung 10,000 mo, pag nag-increase ng 15%, 1.5, diba? So, hindi na masama if you're going to earn between 1,000 to 1,500 pesos with a capital of 30,000. And imagine yung possibility if you have a 6-digit or 7-digit na portfolio and you're able to day trade effectively. So, of course, the returns are bigger and better, no? Of course, one of the disadvantages of doing a day trading profile or day trading style, since most of the time, these stocks, highly volatile, grabe gumalaw, grabe yung momentum, so you can see na umiilaw talaga yung bid and ask mo, no? If your broker has that feature na pag may nagkakaroon ng bentahan, umiilaw talaga, or pag nagkakaroon ng bilib, umiilaw talaga siya. Tapos, very liquid. So, you're seeing volume increasing talaga. Tapos, yung chart talagang erratic talaga siya. So, it's very stressful, no? Lalo na kung nag-day trade ka tapos malayo ka sa laptop mo or you don't have access to a specific gadget, kung iPad man yan, kung tablet or your phone, hindi talaga nawawala sa isip mo yung mga stocks na currently hawak mo, di ba? Lalo na siguro kung up na yung position mo by 10%, 15%, tapos alam mong yun na yung target price mo pero hindi ka makapagbenta, tapos nawala yung gains, no? So, very stressful. When you do day trading, you're not able to monitor your positions effectively. And kahit nga ma-monitor mo, isipin mo isang stock, ganun na yung galaw niya at nakaka-stress, no? What more if nagkataon na 3 pa yung hawak mong stocks na ganun kagulo tas ganun kalikot. So, of course, you need to be able to focus ng grabe. And the more that you focus, no, kung wala kang masyadong control sa emotions mo, mas magiging stressful talaga yun. Tapos, sasabayan mo pa ng kape sa umaga, di ba? And one of the disadvantages pa ng day trading, very time-consuming, no? And I'm not just talking about market sessions here, during the morning and afternoon session. Kasi, pagka hapon or gabi, you need to be able to screen for disclosures, for news, for hype, for sentiment, because if a factor in mo pa yon sa mga positions mo kinabukasan, di ba? Because whenever stocks make a move, alam mong may sentiment nakakasama yan, lalo na yung mga volatile at grabe yung momentum. So, it may take ilang oras, no, before you're able to find yung mga maayos na news or read those disclosures kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin. So, it takes a lot of time for research. So, because of these disadvantages, no, because of it becoming very time-consuming, madalas yung mga traders napapashift talaga into becoming swing traders or position traders. As I will talk about them in a while. And ayun din yung naisip kong mga rason on why I decided to prioritize becoming a swing trader and position trader. But I still do day trades, no, paminsan-minsan pag nakita ko talagang sobrang ganda ng opportunity, but very seldom sa scalp. And this is because I have other priorities and other responsibilities then, because aside sa stock market, I handle investing in small startups and do my responsibilities then sa mga negosyo, whether that's thinking of strategy sa business or participating in meetings, mga ganong bagay. So, of course, I don't have that time to allot na purely trading lang talaga. So, para sa akin, hindi sustainable and viable if I have these responsibilities, tapos magsa-scalp, tapos day trade pa rin ako. Which brings me to the third category or third trading style, which is swing trading, no? For swing trading, yung trade duration nito, madalas several days to weeks yung positions, no? So, by several days, more than 5. So, talagang madalas lumalagpas ng 1 week yung mga position. And this is because for swing trading, yung strategy talaga sa trading style na to is more on trend following and range trading, no? And in a span of a month, several trades lang yung nagagawa since pwede mo ngang mahawakan yung position mo ng ilang araw at ilang weeks. So, imagine that if you have a 30,000 port na amount, tapos i-divide mo sa 3. So, kung hawak mo na yung isang stock na allocation mo for several weeks already, tapos may kakabili ka pa lang na isang stock, so occupied na yung 2 slot ng portfolio mo, isa na lang. E paano pag may nakita kang 3 stock na pwede? So, you're only able to buy one of those stocks. So, full na yung allocation mo, 3 pa lang, kahit may iba ng nangyayaring mga opportunities, no? So, basically, yung option na lang doon is bawasan mo yung ibang allocation mo in order for you to trade or ride other stocks. That's why sa loob ng isang buwan, ilang trades lang talaga yung magagawa kapag swing trading. So, one of the trades that I did as a trend-following strategy that showed me yung possibilities sa swing trading is yung now during the third telco race. So, in hindsight, alam naman natin na ang nanalo doon is Dito, which was previously ISM, no? So, ito yung port snap ko nung now. Last price niya, 15.30 nung February 2018, and I was able to make 133% on that stock. So, puntahan natin yung chart para i-revisit lang natin. So, andito tayo sa chart ng now, and ito yung Feb 14 na candle. So, 15.30 yung last price nun, no? Nung nagkaroon ako ng screenshot, so, andito siya. Sa peak yun eh. So, upon market close ko siya na screenshot. So, at a 133% na gain, dito ako nakapasok sa Feb 6 na candle. So, ayan siya. So, kung bibilangin natin yon Feb 6 to Feb 14, so that's just an 8-day span. So, lagpas lang ng onte sa 1 week, no? So, simple lang yung naging trading strategy ko dito. I bought on the breakout and negation of the selling pressure during Feb 6. Tapos, sobrang lakas kasi nung trend nito during that time. As you can see, nag-increase na yung price even before this move nung Feb 6, January pa lang tumaas na. So, I just trend followed the stock. Pero hindi pa ako nagbenta nung Feb 14 because as you can see, sobrang lakas nung galaw. I was able to sell during the sell down here sa Feb 15. And of course, for my recent trades na kung saan nagawa ko yung swing trade na setup. So, if you've watched my previous videos, you already know one of those stocks is SGP. So, meron ako ditong average price sa 12.22. So, gamit ko kasi yung chart ng broker ko. So, my positions here are automatically included. Kaya may average price sa 12.22. So, I was able to buy here around the breakout area. Tapos, hanggang ngayon, hawak ko pa rin So at a 12.22 average price, I'm still up by more than 30% and nakapag trail stop or profit take na ako dyan. And now I'm still trend following it. So yung position ko na to since first week August pa, no? And October na ngayon. So that's around 2 months. So lagpas 8 weeks, no? So swing trading na set up and I'm just trend following the stock. Another one, alam nyo rin naman yan, M-Wide. So I have a position sa 2.16, much like the same approach I had with SGP. Anticipated and entered on the breakout here also. That's why yung position ko nasa 2.16. And sa ngayon, I'm still up by more than 40%. So nearing 50%. And ayun din yung trading objective ko. Trend follow. And nagaantay na lang for trail stops because sa ngayon, maganda pa rin naman yung galaw ng stock. So one of the advantages of swing trading, which I really like, stressful pa rin naman siya. Kahit papano. Of course, there's money involved. And most of the time, you're still trading stocks that have momentum and have volatility. It's just that mas less yung stress niya compared sa day trading. And you also have less screen time or monitoring time. So you don't actually have to spend your whole morning session or whole afternoon session monitoring your positions, no? So isa yun sa magandang advantage for swing trading because if you have part-time work or even if you have a full-time job, you can simply enter stocks that have good potential for trend follow or for good range trading. Tapos, kailangan mo lang siyang i-monitor paminsan-minsan, no, during market hours. So, you can make trades, monitor your positions less than an hour, araw-araw, no? And most of the brokers naman kasi ngayon already offer conditional orders. So, you can actually put advanced orders sa broker mo para i-execute yung trades mo kahit hindi ka nakabantay, no? So, previously kasi, wala pa yung conditional orders na yun. Wala pang automatic orders. So, kailangan mo talagang bantayan yung mga positions mo. Hindi ka makakapasok sa gusto mong price unless bantayan mo talaga. But sa ngayon, meron ng automatic orders so you can actually set your entries or your exits na automatic pag napuntahan yung price na yun, no? So, big advantage yun para sa mga swing traders din. And another advantage for swing trading, syempre potential for bigger gains. Sa scalp, 2 to 3% average. Sa day trades, 10 to 15%. Swerte na yung more than 20%. And for your swing trades, syempre mas mataas yung potential. Nakita nyo nga kanina, di ba? Pwedeng umabot ng more than 30%, nearly 50%, and even 100% gains. But, of course, the disadvantage pagdating sa swing trading is that you now have overnight and weekend risks. Siyempre, hawak mo yung stock ng ilang araw, pwedeng abutin ka ng weeks, right? Can even be 2 months or 3 months. Of course, whenever magkakaroon ng negative sentiment, may hawak ka pa ng stock na yun. And most of the time, these things, no, hindi mo makontrol. Another disadvantage of swing trading is that you will sacrifice smaller gains as a trade-off to ride yung bigger move ng stock. So, example ko lang, balik tayo sa M-Wide. So, yung M-Wide, meron akong posisyon sa 2.16. But as you can see, during September 12, 15, and 16, puro yan selling candles yung nangyari, no? So, black lang yan dito sa chart ko. Kasi naka-customized, but color red yan sa regular na chart. So, of course, it looks amazing na I have more than 40% gains and at one point more than 50%. Pero syempre in hindsight yon, because kung natuloy tong sell-off na to, kung dumiretso siya sa 2.16 or worse, bumalik sa 2 na price area, pwedeng 1, erase na lahat ng gains ko since bumalik sa average price. Or pangalawa, lalabas ako na may cut loss. And pag nangyari yon from 216, at the peak of this move ng M-Wide, meron ng 23% gain. So, ito yung sinasabi kong disadvantage ng swing trade. Since you're after the bigger move, dapat handa kang isacrifice yung mga smaller gains na mapapalagpas mo. It just so happened na I was able to ride yung buong move ng M-Wide. Kasi andun nga yung mindset ko na pinasok ko siya because of a swing trading objective and nasunod niya lang yung directional bias at yung analysis ko, no? Pero syempre, kung hindi natuloy yan, sayang din. Kasi kung ang objective ko dito, day trading, nakalabas ako na may 10, 15, 20% gain, diba? So, ayun lang yung trade-off niya. So, the fourth category ng trading style and trading profiles, position traders. So, for position traders, sa word pa lang, no, mababasa mo na kaagad, position. So, pumuposisyon. So, most of the time, stock market participants who have a position trade objective, madalas gusto nila yung mga stock nasa mababang price pa talaga. Ayaw nila ng mga stock na tumataas na or nagkakaroon ng very volatile moves, no? So, gusto nila pumuposisyon sila even before the move happens. And this is why for position traders, madalas yung trade duration yan, months and even years. Because it'll take so long before the trade materializes. So, you might ask, if yung trade duration ng position trades inaabot ng months to years, ibig sabihin ba nun, ang position traders considered sila as investors? So, different people might have different opinions about this, pero para kasi sa akin, all investors are position traders. Hindi lang nila alam, but not all position traders are investors. So, ano yung ibig kong sabihin dyan? Yung trade strategy kasi ng position traders, nakabase yan sa holistic approach or based sa historical chart patterns. So, of course, if you're a position trader, tapos ang ginagamit mo lang talaga is technical analysis, I can't consider you as an investor because you're not analyzing financial statements, you're not doing financial formulas, wala kang mga pinag-aaralang mga book value, PE ratio, hindi ka nag-aaral ng income expenses, hindi ka nagbibigay ng pakialam sa mga capex or mga projects ng stock na binibili mo, nagbe-base ka lang talaga sa technical analysis, then you're a position trader. But investors naman, nagbe-base lang talaga sila sa fundamental analysis madalas, no? So, nakafocus sila sa pagbabasa at pag-research nitong mga napag-usapan kong mga financial statements at mga financial formulas. So, ang ending, nagiging months or years yung hawak nila. Kasi syempre, pumapasok pa sila para sa dividends, para sa future growth ng stock, no? Sa mga future projections. So, lumalabas na nagkaroon sila ng position trade, pero yung approach, fundamental analysis, right? But position traders, most of the time, enter stocks na heavily based talaga sa technicals. So, hindi ko sila makonsider as investors. Talagang nagkataon na yung pinapasok nilang stock, malaki yung pattern na ginagawa or classical chart patterns, no? But of course, pwede rin naman magkaroon ng combination of both na nakabase sa mga historical chart patterns and then nag-aaral pa ng funda. So, pwedeng techno-fundamental approach or nagkakaroon ng macro analysis, no? Nag-aaral pa ng economic trends, nagre-research pa tungkol sa government policies, etc. So, sobrang daming combinations yan. But, yun yung opinion ko about dun. Na lahat ng investors, hindi nila alam na position traders pala sila. Pero, hindi lahat ng position traders investors. So, of course, since position traders enter stocks na mababa pa or hindi pa masyadong gumagalaw, iilan lang yung stocks na nabibili nila sa loob ng isang taon. Madalas 2 to 5 stocks lang sa loob ng isang taon because pag nag-materialize yung isa or nawala na yung fundamental reason in order to hold on to that stock, saka pa lang mapapalitan at saka pa lang makakapaghanap ng mas maayos na stock or trading idea. So, like I said earlier, I might be able to mention stocks here pero yung intention ko niyan hindi pang hype. So, pinapakita ko lang to as an example of the trading setups or trade ideas that I have corresponding sa topic at hand. And this time kasi meron tayong pinag-uusapan na position trading. So, papakita ko lang yung mga stocks na nasa mga portfolios ko, no? So, I have DDMPR at 1.05 na average price. So, I've been slowly building up this position. I think late last year pa. Tapos, yung MRC naman, I have an average cost of a little more than 0.78. Tapos, ngayon, yung closing price niya na 0.93. So, I'm actually recording this video kasi ng October 6, 2025. So, punta natin yung mga chart nila saglit. So, this is a blank na chart ng MRC but you see an average price here sa 0.97. So, gaya nga ng sabi ko, kung ano yung active positions ko sa broker na to which is InvestaTrade, lumalabas pag binuksan ko yung chart. So, meron kasi akong position sa MRC sa 0.97 pero iba yung trading objective ko dito. This is more of a swing trading na objective kaya medyo mataas yung kuha ko dyan. And part siya ngayon ng 24K to 1M challenge na portfolio. But for my other portfolio, napakita ko nga kanina, a little more than 0.78, nearing 0.79 na price area. So I've built up my position dyan and matagal na since nakapagdagdag ako ng position sa MRC. So I won't delve that much sa reason ko for buying MRC. Baka pag-usapan ko sa ibang video yung trade idea ko dito. But the gist of it is gusto ko kasi yung pattern na ginagawa niya based sa historical chart pattern niya. And gusto ko rin na may speculative nature yung galaw ng stock. So again, hindi ito by recommendation. Paalala ko lang, yung MRC is considered as a basura stock. So walang laman tong stock na to. I'm entering this stock purely on a technical analysis and speculative nature of it. Gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, as a position trader, I can enter stocks based on the technicals and speculative nature alone na hindi ko kino-consider yung mga macro analysis or fundamentals ng stock. So, yung isa ko pang position trade, DDMPR. So, for DDMPR, walang average price na line dito because wala naman akong hawak na DDMPR sa InvestaTrade na account since I don't plan on buying REIT stocks for my 24K to 1M challenge na portfolio kasi challenge yun. Tapos nababagalan talaga ako sa mga REIT stocks, no? So, in my other portfolio, I trade and do position trades sa mga REIT stocks and isa na nga tong DDMPR which I'm slowly building my position din and it's been making a very good consolidation para sa akin since late last year pa. And although wala siyang masyadong capital appreciation, so as you can see, mababa pa yung move ng DDMPR and my average price is nearing 1.6 na rin. But kahit papano, nagkaroon naman siya ng consolation price. So whenever I trade, actually, I don't prioritize dividends. Pero the thing about DDMPR, consistent yung dividends, no? Kahit late last year. So around November of last year, nakapagbigay sila 2.33%. February this year, 2.29%. July this year, 2.20%. Tapos magkakaroon ulit sa end of Nov ng 2.26%. So, consolation price na lang yung dividends but I really see a good upside for DDMPR. And hindi ko alam kung bakit hindi siya masyadong pinag-uusapan. Pero wala akong masyadong pakialam sa fundamentals and mas focus talaga ako sa technical analysis side of things. That's why position trade yung ginawa ko at I'm not putting myself in the category of an investor sa DDMPR. So, position trade talaga siya. So, one of the advantages of doing position trades, it has the most potential for large gains or multi-baggers, no? So, ano ba yung multi-baggers or multi-baggers? So, when you say a stock kasi is a bagger, it means nakapag-return siya ng 100% and multi means several times siya nag-increase ng 100%. So, pag 200%, 300%, 400%. So, again, I'm not saying na lahat ng ipoposition trade mo pwedeng maging bagger territory or multi-bagger territory or magkaroon ng large gains. I'm just saying that it has the largest potential. And the reason for that is because kinukuha mo kasi sa ilalim eh. So, halimbawa, nakabili ka ng stock na below piso or sabihin natin piso. If the price goes to at least 2 pesos, edi 100% gain agad, di ba? So, nagko-compound yung gains mo as the price increases. The thing is, you'll never know kung kailan ba siya tataas or pipitikin. That's why, essentially, it has the largest potential for bigger gains. Pero walang kasiguraduhan, di ba? And isa pa sa nakikita kong pinaka-advantage talaga ng position trade, you don't need to monitor it constantly. So ako, I'm monitoring MRC because sa 24K to 1M challenge na portfolio, may position ako doon na more of swing yung objective. Pero when it comes to my other portfolio na position trade, yung objective ko for MRC, hindi ko siya masyadong iniintindi. And ganun din ako sa DDMPR. Kasi ba't ko imo-monitor yung stock na yan? Eh, alam ko, yung key levels niya, hindi naman magbabago ng several weeks or months. So, isipin nyo yung DDMPR. Halos isang taon or lagpas isang taon na siyang naglalaro lang sa 1 to 1.10 na price area. So, yun yung advantage doon because you're just positioning sa stock and you already know your levels, kung saan ka magbebenta if wala na dun yung trade idea or kung saan ka magbebenta pag magte-take profits na. But during that time that it's consolidating, you don't actually need to monitor. And since ako, hindi ko naman priority yung mga dividends na nakukuha, hindi ko na rin naman binabantayan kung may pumasok na ba na dividend since more of a position trade talaga siya in terms of the technical analysis side. One of the biggest disadvantages of position trading is it requires a lot of patience. So, isipin nyo yung sa DDMPR, kunwari walang dividends. So, isipin mo yon isang taon or lagpas isang taon tas walang nangyayari sa stock, diba? And sobrang dami pa niyan. Siguro makaka-relate talaga dito yung mga investors because for some, May mga investors pa nga na bumibili sila ng stock na mataas na or wala sa ilalim. Pero since gusto nila yung fundamentals ng stock, bibili nila tapos bumaba na ng 20-30%. Mag-aantay ka talaga ng buwan or ng taon before niya balikan yung price mo or mataasan pa niya yon. So, there are times na you're required to have a lot of patience kasi wala talagang mangyayari sa stock, diba? Pwedeng pababa pa siya, pwedeng tumaas ng onte, makikita mo may gains ka na 5%, 10%, pero hindi ka magbebenta kasi yung objective mo nga is mahit yung mga targets na gusto mo. So, patience talaga na isa-sacrifice mo yung mga 5-10% gains, patience na hindi mo ibebenta yung stock kasi nakakita ka ng mas better na opportunity. So, yun yung disadvantage, no? And, ayun nga, opportunity cost because there are a lot of stocks na gumagalaw. And kung hawak mo yung stock ng sobrang tagal na, ibig sabihin yung allocation mo sa portfolio ng stock na yon, andun lang siya. At hindi siya kumikita ng pera na supposedly pwede mong ma-allot sa ibang stock. So, halimbawa, yung sa DDMPR, nearing 8%, no? 10% na dividends. Pero inabot yun ng lagpas isang taon. And for me, knowing how I read the markets, no, imposibleng wala akong nakitang stock na nakapag-increase ng 20 or 30% sa loob ng isang taon for me to be able to gain that same amount of returns na 10%. Kasi sa 20-30%, madali ka nang makakuha ng 10% gains dyan eh. But the thing is, ayun nga yung trade-off. Kasi in order for you to be able to trade yung mga stocks na may 20-30% gain, you need to spend more time in the market for that specific trading profile. And yung sa position trade, mas less yung makukuha mong gains sa short term and even sa medium term because nakatenga nga yung position mo. But in the event naman na masunod niya yung bias mo or yung analysis mo, then the gains from that move will eventually pay yung times na hawak mo lang yung stock tapos walang nangyayari, diba? Kasi kung magi-increase man yung stock ng let's say 100% in a span of a year or two, ibig sabihin parang dalawang 50% yun, diba? Tapos wala ka pang masyadong pag-monitor or wala kang masyadong ginagawa. So, nagiging worth it yung pagiging position trader. So, that's why, para sa akin, if a market participant na less time yung kayang i-allot pagdating sa trading, sa pag-monitor, I think swing trading and position trading yung mas fit na trading strategy or trading profile. So again, I'm not saying na imposibleng maging scalper or maging day trader kung may trabaho ka or may negosyo ka. Because ako mismo nagagawa ko pa paminsan-minsan yung mga ganong trading strategies or trading profile na yon. It's just that leaning on more na sa swing trading and position trading in order to have more time for other things, diba? So if you haven't watched yung mga previous videos ko, I announced this a few days back. So I'm starting a technical analysis course on how to trade the Philippine stock market, and ang start nito around the 2nd to 3rd week of October, and currently the applications are ongoing. Limited slots lang and half of the slots are already filled. So if you're interested to learn more about technical analysis, whether you're a beginner or an intermediate trader na wala pang system, I can link the video where I explain what the technical analysis course is about. You can check na lang sa description box below or sa pinned comment sa comment section. So, sa course na to, I'll talk more about the setups that I use for my trading methodology. So, mapapag-usapan ko dyan yung mga momentum trades, mga trend follow trades, mga breakout trades, at marami pang iba. So, if you've learned a lot from this video, if you found value sa video na to, you can subscribe to this channel para ma-notify kayo or ma-update kayo sa mga future videos na i-release ko pa. You can also click the link towards the left kung gusto nyo maging member sa channel na to and have exclusive access to my videos. Or you can click towards the right to watch my other videos when it comes to market psychology and trade management. So, ayun lang, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and thank you for watching this video.